surprise since every team bans it. And LGD, they feel confident and they let it through. And this could be what makes or break the tournament for them. Because if they found the way to counter this ledge rack, they're set. They can just keep letting it through, daring other teams to pick it. But this, I mean, this is a real cocky moment for them.
Well, is it cocky though? Because CDEC found the hard way just how scary the techies is. And you're kind of picking your poison here. LGD, they do give up the Lesh, but I think you look at it from the other side as well for EG, and this is, they have shown how scary they can be with a hero that a lot of other teams don't run, so it puts LGD into that tough position because of the game that they played earlier in the event. And well, it worked for CDEC. They banned the techies twice, they won both games. Not the same start here for LGD. They do trail 0-1 as we get underway, folks. It's game number 2 of this best-of-3. Winner faces CDEC in the grand finals of TI5. A lot on the line here. LGD, this team has some veteran leadership blitz, and they'll need every ounce of it to avoid getting 2-0'd here by EG.
It's just so hard to think about it at all times. You're one game away. I mean, a lot of these players, this is what they dream for, and it has to be so nerve-wracking. And I just want to bring up the fact that EG, they never cleared that 5K net worth lead, and they still went for it with all the pressure in the world on them. A lot of teams would have just farmed, tried to establish 10 or 15K advantage before going in.
We saw it, you know, I think Secret comes to mind as a team that had a couple of big leads in the tournament, tried to farm them out. It didn't work. Some teams have just, I guess, let their opponents stick around too long. But EG, as you point out, did close them out. They were decisive. They went for the jugular, and it worked out that game. Let's see if they can get off to a similar advantage here. LGD now, they'll back off. All the wards getting planted down, so early on it looks like EG are gonna look to block this pole camp on the Radiant off lane. Universe cogging in the creep wave. It is gonna be Yao on the Tusk. He gets the full wave pulled back, so that should allow him to get his own experience. In fact, he's blocked off the Radiant pole camp too. Both teams with a lot of ward action early on. We will see AUI looking to secure mid. He's gone for the early point in Grave Chill. They want Sumail to have a hot start here.
And maybe he smartly decides to go for the raise. We'll throw it off. He's going to go for the fast bottle. You can't afford against the Disco Goat Man to go for the Wraith Man first. You just get zoned out of the lane so incredibly hard. It's just one of the strongest laning heroes in the game, bar none. There's almost nothing that beats it, and so you have to go for this fast bottle and just play the CS game. You absolutely can't trade hits with him.
And you also got to be careful about getting run down. Sumail with that initial stun going in on maybe. And do want to point out while that mid-exchange happened, there was a D-Ward top. MMY able to get rid of that Radiant Observer, so it is going to leave the Universe clock a bit more in the dark here. But still, getting his early levels, both offlaners finding their experience. AUI, meanwhile, busy trying to D-Ward his own pole camp, but of course this is basically the toughest pole camp in the game to D-Ward, and he's actually, he's just barely missed twice here.
And he's going to miss again, and this is going to hurt them.
They're making it go, maybe. Caught out a bit. The roam comes in from both supports. Who gets the jump? It's Sumail dropping the quickest, but he gets on the stun. The turnaround is actually Xiaowei with the first blood. And in fact, they get the Wyvern on the way out. We saw this yesterday versus LGD-GAMING. Xiaowei just gets things done with his roaming Earthshaker, and lordy, lordy, what a time to show up mid. Saves the first blood and then secures the second kill.
Yeah, that rotation, they absolutely had to do it because you can't just let the SF go for that one-on-one matchup. And now the lane is pushing in, and so maybe he's going to have a little bit more room to farm, but Sumail, he's already got the wand.
They're converging here. They've got MMY moving into position as well. Sumail in a lot of danger. They're pulling him back. The raises connect, and down he goes again. It seems LGD's idea of how to beat this Lesh rack is just never to give him a 1v1. Tri-lane mid emerges. Back to the jungle now. The supports will go.
The amount of pressure that they're putting right now on Sumail is insane. We've seen this from teams before, but oftentimes you give up the other lanes as a result. But it is a Sylar Clockwork, so he can pretty much zone the Clockwork out by himself, or a Sylar Gyrocopter. He can zone out Universe by himself, and at the same time, Sumail TP'd mid after he dies, immediately dies again, is nowhere close to his bottle.
And he doesn't even have boots here, so he's got to take the slow route to get into the lane. He's going to miss a couple of extra creeps.
Oh, this is going to hurt him so much, is maybe he's just going to get a CS advantage. And maybe once he sees the fact that Sumail doesn't have the bottle, he can just trade CS for mana. Like, he can actually just use his raises for 1 or 2 CS. He's okay with that right now. And now Sumail has to play on the back foot because if this Shadow Fiend gets the level 3 raise, he can just zone him out with 1 or 2 raises.
Yeah, those small advantages in the mid lane can just make such a big difference as the Lightning Spam will be used to secure farm. He's going to try to recover here. PPD was kind of camping out near the mid lane up on the cliff. Didn't really see an opening, and perhaps worried about another jump, which could just completely put the nails in the coffin for this mid lane. But I think that is the key point here, Blitz, is first of all, the failed D-wards happening bottom. They are going to slow down the experience gain of what AUI grabs. Fortunately for him, it was only a Sentry, so it will wear off now, but he's not had the fastest start in support, and so far, LGD just getting a little bit more than, and certainly more than what you would expect, and a little bit more than EG as well here. Already up to a 1,000 gold lead and experience, scarcely 4 minutes in.
It's really hard for the Clinkz to just solo zone out the Tusk because the Tusk can just soak experience and force the Clinkz to choose either to CS, you know, or go for the harass, but Sylar can do both. That's the strength of having the gyrocopter in the game. If he sees Universe out of position at all, or if he decides to get a little bit too greedy, he'll run you down with that level 3 rocket barrage, and it will lead to a kill.
And he's got the phase boots now, so even if you try to run, he can just get on top of you as LGD make a smoke, but it's PPD there to reveal it. He may get caught out. He does have the ability to fly over the trees. Fisher's going to come out. They need the lift as well. Can't get the vision. He retreats. The stun, a miss from Sumal. They even brought Yao in. Well, where the tri-lane succeeds, the quad lane will fail, but that's not going to stop them just yet. Universe looking to turn it. They actually pull PPD closer to FMY, and that will cost the little Rubik his life. Universe there to turn this mid lane around. 4 EG heroes moving in, and Spear is already on the prowl. He's got a ward up in the jungle. He's about to spot out Xiao 8. They also are closing in on maybe. Who do they go for here? I think they want to kill him. They want to kill him, maybe. Arrows, there's the lightning. He's got the bottle charges, and the stick is not enough. Spear, a very early rotation. Didn't even go level 6 first. They've been going to Xiao 8, zoning him out of the lane. EG, strike back.
Middle tower is under attack.
8 heroes mid. Feels like the All-Star match.
A lot for it, but at the same time they had to, because AUI needs some way of getting back into this game. He originally started in that mid lane. No pull camp for him for so long, so he has to find some levels. And Clinkz is a hero that can't rotate in like that. He's about to pick up that level 6, and I've seen Fear do this a lot before. He's not the type of static lane farmer that you often see in the one position role. When he plays the Clinkz, he wants to get active on the map. He wants to be able to pressure really weak mid heroes.
Well, this is where sentries will certainly be in order for LGD. And it looks like he will be rushing the early medallion here, already picking up the chainmail, not going for the Deso build, which we have seen from Fear. Just a little bit more active and early game focused. Gets the clarity potion now, and as you mentioned, Death Pact online. Important for the Dire team to maintain vision. We see PPD off, stacking the jungle a bit, simultaneously maybe clearing out his own woods. And he is carrying a pack of dust now, so does want to be able to counterplay any potential Clinkz rotations.
Oh, and maybe actually just pops the dust. They thought for a second they might have run into somebody, but
that ward is doing a lot for EG right now. Scouting out 3 heroes. Yeah, we'll grab the bottom bounty rune. PPD will snag the DD. More importantly, denies it to maybe. So small victory there as the call down comes through. Universe in danger. It's going to clip him once. He continues to retreat. Beautiful cogs. Couldn't stay on top of him and will retreat. Meanwhile, Fear engaging bottom onto Yao. Heavy physical damage with the soul assumption. He gets the kill again. Fear is heating up. And LGD starting to feel a wee bit squishy here, Blitz.
This Clinkz has
that's before the medallion.
And he's got 2 kills on him. He's got level 6. He can just continue to rotate around the map because he's got the CS to back it up, and he is getting kills at the same time. This is opening up the map for the rest of EG, because if you notice LGD's positioning, they're so afraid of the Clinkz backstab in this mid lane, so they're devoting 3 heroes to it right now, and Universe is finally starting to pick up levels.
It's LGD's turn to miss on the wards here. They try to double sentry in their own jungle. They did not find a single EG ward on the hill. It's a little bit more forward than what you normally expect, and it's really been a battle of vision here early on, especially when you've got a hero like Clinkz in the game. That becomes so important for LGD to keep track of him, but as you pointed out, he continues to be foremost in their minds. Now he's got the medallion. Where does he want to go?
Sumail's getting a good amount of farm now. He does pick up the soul ring.
He's actually ahead. He's caught up completely.
I mean, this is the strength of Lesh as a hero, is that you can't really shut him down. He can just alternate to the jungle, farm out mid at the same time. It's hard to lock this hero down 1-for-1, but
the line was even drawn here by Fear. He saw this one coming. Universe didn't really have anywhere to go. Will drop. It's a 4-hero rotation. LGD finding the pick, and now moving in for the tower, as maybe backs off a bit mid, worried about himself getting caught. PPD will rotate in. Fear's going to join them. They have any additional detection, just the dust, which Yao is not going to use as of yet.
Here's that top.
They've got 4. Fear and Viz always going to get revealed now. Do they make their go? Close call. They had the fissure available, but don't know how many heroes are parked behind Fear.
I don't think they have the damage, though. Even if they were to spot him out and reveal him there, he still has 1100 HP. Well, or he did have the but LGD, they might not have the crowd control just yet. They're just rotating around constantly while Sumail continues to catch up and pull ahead of the Shadow Fiend, who had such a good start.
The experience is really the big thing here for EG, even more so than the gold. They've already got a 2K experience lead, and so much of it just comes down to the Clinkz. It gives AUI a free lane. The Clinkz is still farming. LGD haven't really had that opportunity because they're worried about the ganks. They're spending a lot more time grouping up blitz, and they are starting to lack the levels. And now the pressure mounts. Bottom lane, pounding the familiars will administer here. Not quite killing off the tower, but doing a lot of chip damage. About 20%, maybe 15. There'll be a smoke again from LGD. They have chewed through these. In fact, no smokes for 6 minutes. This really needs to work. And it really needs to be a big kill. Sumail would be great. Fear would be nice.
They're actually just going to miss Sumail right now.
They're running away. It's the double medallion strat, by the way, here for EG. Pretty unusual.
LGD are committing so much to this. This is 2 cores. The Shadow Fiend
is going to find him. There's the snowball. Follow-ups there from the ice shards. And with the Sigil coming out, AUI jukes. The Grave Chill movement almost getting him out. He will fall in the end, though. Like you said, though, Blitz, a very big commitment.
They're not going to get the tower out of this, and they had to rotate the Shadow Fiend in at the same time. Sumail's now the leader when it comes to net worth. I don't think that's necessarily worth it, because now it's going to be incredibly hard for them to take the tower unless they just brute force it.
Seems like maybe they were hoping to find Fear in the jungle, since the Clinkz hasn't shown himself as of late, but wasn't the hero that they ran into.
Dire's middle tower is under
continue
attack.
to push in the bottom lane. Familiars can slow this one down. And in fact, we'll hold the wave back. So LGD, no objectives. That's really been the story of the event, is the teams that convert their smokes and ganks into not just kills, but also towers and Roshan, generally the teams coming out on top. But LGD this time, they'll be thwarted. They now trail 1,500 gold, 3K experience. Still, they haven't lost any of their own towers. Sylar is the man farming top. The Shadow Fiend of maybe still doing quite well in his own right. And they have a fearsome team fight. Well, it's a nice lead early for EG, but they're not going to want to rest on their laurels here. Double damage rune on Fear as he moves in. This is like a 3-shot on MMY if he finds him. He will just skeleton walk and doesn't actually go in.
Tower is under attack.
MMY, this entire game he's going to be so incredibly scared. Fear, if he decides to jump on him with the medallion, he's going to go down so quickly if he has the death packed up. He's got to be careful, because unless he steals the Shadow Walk, he should just die every single time, like you said. I don't know how much he's going to be able to do. Like, what spells do you really want to steal here? Maybe the Winner's Curse if you can somehow get it. Anything from the Leshrack's probably okay, but...
Uh-oh, one. Oh, he misses uphill, and then the lift comes out. The hook's there. That was only one arrow that hit him before Universe hooked it, and... Oh, dear God. That's a lot of damage. And he's even got Tranquil Boots just for the armor. It doesn't matter with the medallion. He still melts.
Dire's middle tower
this isn't a Rubik game that we're going to see like we saw when FY played against C9. There's no great spells that are so game-changing on EG's lineup that he can steal. Maybe the Winner's Curse, like I said, but that's it. So this Rubik, he has to have a better start than this, because his late-game impact is going to be incredibly minimized.
Well, maybe that's where the rest of the team can pick up the slack. PPD will slow this one down with the Splinter Blast coming out. Sigil will scout him a bit. It's going to be ice on ice action here in the top lane. And they rotate in Sumail, throws out the lightning. The tower looks like it will be denied. No contest. EG will give up their tier 1, but it's the least important tower on the map, and it's denied as well. Meanwhile, off in the river, Fear getting caught, but he's way too tanky. 1,300 HP. In fact, he's the man going in onto Sylar, who skates away. Forced to pop an early drum charge just to get out. And I just can't get over how much space AUI 2000 has. This feels like the Techies game, Blitz, where he just sits bottom, everyone ignores him, they're busy dealing with other heroes, and just keeps on farming. 900 gold. He went for the second medallion, but now in the river there is a bit of a fight breaking out. On the Universe, the snowball will go. They have the Walrus Punch. Holding Universe in position, but he's tanky. Where's the follow-up? Stun the lift. They just get it off in the nick of time. Faithful, he still survives it as he hooks away. Beam me up, Scotty is the call from Universe, and he'll make it out. God, he's awful tanky.
This guy, the entire tournament, has just been the rock for EG. Never fails to deliver. There we see it again, and Universe gets away, and that's a huge commitment from LGD, and it's free information at the same time. That means the cores continue to farm. That means AUI, like you pointed out, he just continues to farm this bottom lane, and there's very little that they can do to gank him. If they kill him, yeah, maybe you get the kill, but you can't push the tower immediately after that. And that's the thinking of EG right now, is that, okay, you kill AUI, it doesn't matter. He's the only person that we have to show on the map, and it's a support at the same time, but it's a flawed thinking, because he's not going to remain a support for very long.
Yeah, he's farming so much, and It just feels like the smokes are the resource that have been squandered the most here by LGD. They don't even have one for 2 minutes, a little bit less at this point. And even once they get that smoke, if that one doesn't work, it's going to be another 10 minutes or so that they have to walk around the map. EG, I think that's why they're feeling so confident here. It's definitely a big part of it. Familiars are on the mid lane, and they are moving 3, and EG looks like they want to pressure. They may give up this tower, they'll TP out. Going home is AUI. And even should they lose their bottom tower, it's a big commitment. The Dire jungle now being occupied by the old man. He'll farm it up. PPD looks like he wants to get an aggressive ward down, and this could be a great setup for a fear gank later on. He's already level 7. Everybody getting their levels in farm here on EG.
Bottom tower
As we will reach the 14-minute mark.
Radiant structures
He's going to pressure this top lane. He's completely by himself. He almost has that Bloodstone completed. We saw him pressured early and often, but doesn't seem to make a difference as Leshrac just continues to farm. He's going to take this tower down, and LGD, this is effectively a 1-for-1 trade, and there's a DD rune at top 2, and if Fear gets that, he should be able to get a kill real quickly.
Oh, this could be the worst possible timing to group up mid if you're LGD. Fear picks it up now. He wants a fresh death pack before he engages. This allows LGD to move, and they do have the maybe Mac, feeling like they can definitely take a fight on the back of it. There's a Hulk at the ready, Universe sitting back and now angling up the cliff, looking for the opening sigil, doing a bit of a scout to try and find that pesky clockwork, and they will get the tower here. Still EG not coming in. It looks like they see the mech, they see the LGD 5-man, and they decide, not worth the risk, let's just play the farm game.
You can, because you can just take those towers at any point that you want when you've got heroes that EG have. They've got a Visage who is really kind of close to his Aghanim Scepter at this point in the game.
Point booster, 500 gold as well. They're diving top.
They got the DD rune.
Sylar, just no chance. The Winter's Curse, way too much damage. That early medallion paying off. It even forces a cancel TP, which Sumail was hoping would be a real TP.
They're going to continue too. Once they see that TP is canceled, they know that one of the heroes at bottom used it. And at worst, they take a 3v5 fight here. And Sumail's got the Edict up. This is the last clip for them. And EG, they're all assembled right now.
Oh, do they even come back and try to hold the bottom lane? Already the TP's coming out. They have a hook shot ready. Universe, the first man to arrive. Maybe. He's in deep. There's no backup. All these wards not going to help if more heroes arrive. And now the tower falls top. EG, do they TP in more? Glyph also available. Universe dragging back the wave, and maybe he decides he can't commit for it. So it's a tier 2 victory for LGD, or rather for EG. LGD unable to claim the Radiant Tower as of yet. And they are just all over this Dire side of the map. It's like a piece of food is dropped and ants are just swarming everywhere. What's the steal here? Grab the Splinter Blast from MY. Not a terrible steal, but the most game-changing. Uh-oh. Shao 8. He wanted to D-ward. It's just out of range, and he's scouted out, but meanwhile, there's a go on the mid lane. Snowball in onto PPD. Can they burst him down in time? He puts himself under. They don't need the raise. Everybody's going to clean it up, and now for the back. Fear trying to finish off Sylar. There's the counter initiation, but Fear runs out of it. He keeps on chasing forward. Showing doesn't have much lockdown. Rocket Barrage doing it, pushing it back. Oh, the death pact wearing off, and it does cause Fear's life. That's the big loss here. Not the Wyvern, but the Clinkz. It felt like he was just going to be able to run away or maybe even kill the gyro. The cooldown didn't hit him, Blitz, but LGD just finding that team fight, clawing their way back into this.
EG gets sloppy for half a second. They commit a little bit too much to that. And the Clinkz, I mean, I think he thought he was just going to hit and run. And at worst, like you said, he'll be out, no problem. But everybody from LGD was ready for that. And he also runs into the tower. The Ice Shards hit him at the worst possible angle. If that actually shoved him forward, he would have been okay, but
it just wrangled him and kind of trapped him back in. With that, maybe, all of a sudden, the leader in terms of net worth again up to 27 making the jump on the picture's there. First will cancel this and turn around. Maybe needs to get off this mech to change the fight. And that Sumail kept alive, but the Echo comes out. They've got the magic damage. They will bring down Sumail on the Leshrac. They lose the Rubik, but well worth it here. Getting a core for support. Now, do they back? Do they get out of here? There's no hook just yet. Fear moving around from the south. Looking for the opening. He's got a fresh death pact at the ready. He's got the initiation potential. Maybe he's going to bottle up a rune. It's a haste rune. PPD just barely lucky that he doesn't get close out of the charge. Fear walking in. The familiar double stun from AUI, but the snowball looking to turn. This Fear will get run again. Both run into the combo. Now the combo. That's going to have both cores. Alive and surviving for a time, and they will all stay and really bad. A fissure, a call down, and so much follow-up, but just too much defensive abilities here and too much beef on EG, who are now going for the rope.
The Universe just casually struts in, manages to get the cogs, pushes the Shadow Fiend away, who they weren't going to kill anyways when he has that haste root. He forces the Gyrocopter onto that high ground, doesn't have a BKB or a TP to go along with it, and EG, this is going to be an Aegis for them. They do it incredibly fast and Fear. You can continue to roll them because all of your items are so cheap, but they deal so much damage. The Deso nowadays, it costs absolutely nothing. The Medallion Beast up your damage so much for free. You can go for the Solar Crest at some point and force an MKB early on LGD. And EG, they've just got complete control right now. Sumail's at neutral Bloodstone charges again. Everything going their way.
Yeah, he's clawed his way back in, and AUI 2000 silently farming 2,200 gold with the point booster. We're looking at a well under 25-minute Aghanim Scepter for the Visage, and just as importantly, he's getting close to that level 11. In fact, almost there already. And this is without a Midas or any way to boost up his experience. He's going to become a carry at this rate. He's already ahead of Universe, who will transition into more of a utility role. Meanwhile, LGD going what looks to be the double BKB build on the cores here. Maybe. Pretty much has his if he wants to buy it. And meanwhile, we see the Ogre Club out early for Sylar.
Part of the problem, though, is that you still have that Clinkz who does an insane amount of physical damage. He's going to pick up the Deso soon. TPD has that Winner's Curse, and if they can use it pre-BKB, they can almost pop one of the LGD heroes immediately, and that's what they're looking for right now.
Looking for the hook. Universe is ready just across the river, but not going to go yet. There's a Dire Observer Ward in the neighborhood, but he smokes. They didn't actually see him. They just kind of dodge away from the direction the gank comes, but up onto the high ground. PPD maneuvers, and he'll find Xiaowei. This is an easy pick for him with the backup coming in. Fissure comes through, the nukes are there, hook as well, just to secure it, and the director goes down. That was not part of the script. Another death. EG, do they convert this into more objectives? They're moving in. The familiar is starting to really tickle Yao here. Not quite dishing out maximum damage yet, but they're so close to this Ags on AUI, and he's got the level 11. This Visage is going to become a big problem, and as you mentioned, it felt like a hero you didn't want to focus because there's other targets to worry about, but now he is a problem as that tower falls. He's just 250 gold away from the Ags. The Fear Deso already being flown out. A big wave of items for EG.
And Sumail picks up that Fuel Sucker, so they have a different way to initiate, so they don't have to just rely on the Universe shot like they did before. PPD, surprisingly, he's not on the bottom of the net worth chart. He actually keeps up with Yao right now, who has absolutely nothing. And this is a hero that you're okay with seeing so little, but at 21 minutes into the game, your spells alone aren't enough to have impact. It's not even like he can use his Frozen Sigil to go for the Roshan. This is a purely defensive hero.
Oh, they got a rocket. Are they going to hook in for this? Not yet. Fear will run up. He's run right past the Sentry Ward. This could be bad for Fear. The snowball's there. The picture comes through. Now they Walrus Punch. He's rather tanky. Call down. And I start combined to keep them in place. They try to save him with PPD, and they will. Hold him in position for ages. They finally bring down the Clinkz. He's on the fight. Echo Slam by Xiaowei. The Wizard's Curse holding maybe. That's preventing his position on any damage during this fight. He does get off the Requiem, and he lays in the Universe. They'll bring him down with a single raise. Now with AUI. TP unattempted. Do they have the damage? Yes, they do. AUI also falls. It all began with a well-played sentry from LGD. The vision game has just been the real battle, it feels, in so much of these first two.
EG get a little bit too over-aggressive. They have the Aegis on the Leshrac, but LGD just ignore him the entire fight. They go for the Clinkz instead. That's the main prize. You mop up the other heroes, and all of a sudden, even with the Aegis, Sumail will die twice, so he has to get out of there, Aegis or not. And I mean, Fear just playing a little bit too over-aggressive. That's walking uphill when LGD, this is no amateur team. They're just going to have sentries everywhere at this phase of the game.
And it does mean those supports continue to struggle to find their farm. We are seeing the Xiaowei Earthshaker just with a Bracer and Tranquil Boots. It's been a blow to his economy, but obviously a necessary one. Unfortunately for AUI, he was so close to the Ags, but he didn't manage to buy it. I don't know if he had quite enough that fight, but now down to 1,500 gold, so it does delay the Ags timing a little bit. Still going to be a rather fast one. And we will see a spell steal. It's not the ideal spell for MMY here. He'll get the Pulse Nova.
He's not going to be able to use that in the
okay,
fight.
Snowball, Pulse Nova, Rupik.
That, he will die so quickly.
He'll get ripped apart. He's just got a hashtag.
But the Aghanim Scepter on AUI, it's incredibly fast and it's worth talking about, but at the same time, LGD, they've got 2 BKBs on the cores. the best that he can hope for is just to harass one of the supports like crazy. If you set them on MMY, it's going to be real hard for him to get in the middle of that fight. And maybe you can prevent a clutch spell steal, but it's not going to do too much to the cores in the beginning of the fight.
I think for LGD, they probably still feel all right about this game blitz the way it's going, with that fight going their way. And the Leshrac has not gotten totally out of hand yet. Obviously, this is a hero that can scale incredibly hard in late game. He does have 10 Bloodstone charges. Not atop the network chart, though. It's not like the game that we saw for Maybe in the group stage, where he had all 9 of the team's first 9 kills en route to like a 15-minute or 20-minute win, I think it was. So they've kept him somewhat in check. At least thus far.
This is a really interesting smoke. They know for a fact that Sumail has just lost the Aegis, so they're going to try to go for it, but EG
backing off.
Teams do this all the time. They're going to sense this and just run away and regroup.
There's 2 more items for EG now. The Blink on the Lash, they get an Observer and a Sentry down. They don't see the Radiant, the actual Radiant Ops, which is a bit too far to the south. A double Sentry whiff here for LGD. Maybe just trying to find the Clinkz and not actually D-ward. Oh, that Clinkz though, he's to the upper side of the creep wave. Not going to be an easy takedown. LGD moving in, the smoke is going to wear off right now. Yao blinks forward, but it's already too late. Fear with the wily moves, just 1 step ahead of LGD. And again, they've just been chewing through the smokes. No smoke for 2.5 minutes. Then they're not going to have one for a very long time. And, well, no Rosh for a couple. So they will not have they will have 1 smoke, rather. 1 smoke for the next Rosh fight.
And that's definitely going to be what it's used for. They're probably going to try to smoke up, pick somebody off, and then go for the safe Roshan. Because as long as EG's alive, they'll contest it. They've got the Clockwork who can constantly scout for it with the Rocket Flare, meaning that EG, they'll always have the jump when it comes to that fight. And LGD, that Rosh fight, though, is so crucial to them because they need a BKB up on one of their cores to survive the winner's curse.
Holding out this mid wave, LGD playing pretty defensive here. They lost control of their jungle. The 2 towers are down. The mid-tier one also caved in by EG. They're feeling a little constricted in terms of the map movement, and let's see as a result, EG going a bit ahead in terms of net worth and experience. Fear and Universe, the longtime old friends and teammates, they kind of take a tentative step into the enemy jungle, but they don't fully commit. Universe is nervous about the possibility of LGD being here. In fact, he'll just TP himself away. The real pressure comes bottom, where they're still a tier 1. This is a lower hanging fruit as far as objectives go. So EG commit on it, though. They're a little hesitant as well. They're not going to go in yet.
They can just send the birds in, and this is the strength of having the Aghanim Scepter completed on the Visage, is that they don't actually have to hard commit for these easy towers. They can just force somebody over and play the positioning game. Because now they know for a fact that Yao is down, or Xiao 8 is down here, and that just gives them free information to work with.
Oh, another tower. This one claimed by Sumail. That's 4 towers now secured for EG. Trying to take away as much of the map control from LGD as they can. Sumail up to another 1800 control. Meanwhile, there's a bit of a chase onto Fear over towards the jungle, but no real follow-up for this. Hook shot, there's the counter to Jing. He's down now, Yao. Can Yao make his way out of this one? The lift from MOI can toss him back. They water punch him. Requiem's coming. Nope, not actually going to use it just yet. He gets thrown up in the air. Community cut it. BKB does this. They curse him and hope it plays in Fear. Does the work even through the BKB. Finally gets up the mix. The first stone, the steal! Oh my God! With the play! There's the follow-up from Sylar. AUI will melt. It's a triple! Sylar clears it! BKB stands! MMY! Oh my God.
And we talked about it all game. The only spell that's really going to impact the fight is the Winner's Curse, and he manages to get it in the most clutch of moments. That Shadow Fiend stayed alive for so much longer than he needed to. Gets off the Requiem, just destroys EG in that fight. And it's so often that we forget about that Gyrocopter being able to swing in. This guy deals damage.
That was the fight. If he doesn't steal that exact spell and use it there's no way LGD wins.
No, the Shadow Fiend was just about to die.
Yeah, he gets to channel the full Requiem from scratch. That's a lot of time. Oh, EG, that is a fight that they didn't see coming. Let's see if they move in anyway. Familiar, a bit of split push here in the meantime, bottom. Universe not going to find the opening he looks for, and of course Sumail's Bloodstone charges do go down after that fight. Leshrac still being somewhat controlled this game. We haven't seen him totally go off the charts, and in fact now, for the first time this game, since the very early laning stage, LGD pull ahead in terms of experience. They catch up on their levels. They bring it about even in terms of net worth. since we've got a moment here, Blitz, what do you expect to see from each team moving forward? Game plan-wise, strategy-wise, how do the lineups match up? And I guess we can start with EG. What's the game plan for each of these squads?
I mean, for EG, they forfeited a lot of their late game just because Fear. I mean, he's playing Clinkz. It's a good hero. You can pick people off, but he hasn't really had time to farm. He's usually been leading the charge. They need his physical DPS to take down maybe in Sylar. So he has to be there for a lot of these engagements. And they don't have those huge game-changing fight spells. Like, they've got the Winner's Curse, but at the same time, as we saw LGD, they have better spells. You've got the Echo Slam, which is going to be even more beefed up because he's about to grab the Blink Dagger. You've got the Shadow Fiend, who can launch the Requiem of Souls. And so when it comes to the ultra late game, I think that LGD do have the advantage. And EG, they're going to start needing to get some BKBs. Like, I think Sumail, after this Octarine Core, has to get a BKB. There's just too much magical damage that's coming on the side of LGD. They control him up so well.
And on the side of LGD, the physical damage will start to slowly become more of a problem as Sylar works towards the butterfly, picking up his Eagle Song. We also see the Shadow Fiend, maybe he went for that very strong mid-game build where you just get the cheap items, Sanjin Yacha, BKB, and the mech. But now you have to imagine it's damage items that come out for him. It's tier 4 items that he looks for. So they will have the physical damage, and then Sumail may even need something like a Shiva's Guard to stay alive in these fights. Well, in good news for EG, the Winter's Curse that was stolen is finally going to expire. MMY does not get to use it again. It may have been something that EG consciously decided, let's just wait out that cooldown. And now it's finally down. And right as the Roshan is scouted out by LGD, it is too as well by EG, who send in a rocket. Now they smoke Blitz, they head down,
Dire's top
inching
tower
towards
is
the
under
pit.
attack.
They didn't see LGD commit to the Roshan. LGD aren't actually going for it right now. Another rocket, just keeping vision up. This next Roach fight feels like it could decide so much.
I mean, LGD can just wait this out. They've got the advantage of being on the Dire side. Sylar can just TP in whenever he wants. And even more importantly, they've got the Blink Dagger now on Shao 8. EG have to be so careful with how they take the fight. LGD, they still got two really strong heroes. They've got 8-second BKB.
Oh, PPD, the smoke, he breaks it instantly, but Shao 8's there. Blinking forward, Snowball's gonna find a fissure as well. Looks like PPD can just shut down the offense, but instead he may cost himself his life. There's the Glimmer. Dust is also giving them vision of this. Holds himself alive with the Cold Embrace. It's a really good stalling tactic, but it's only a stalling tactic. In the end, he goes down. They don't have a buyback. And Blitz, they're right at the Roche pit with a DD rune still up, but maybe for a couple of seconds. This is the Aegis. It's going to LGD.
There's no way that EG decide to contest this at this point. They don't have that hero like Storm who can just zip in and contest for this. LGD, they've got dominance in this pit right now. The Echo Slam is still available. They now know that Shao 8 has that Blink Dagger.
Is there a hook shot? Universe is looking for it, but Yao is just screening him, trying to block this thing. No, he decides to back in the end. No, Familiars looking to snipe something. Good effort there by AUI, in the end not able to do so. Does not have a resummon. They may lose both. One Walrus Punch and they'll make it out. That flock though, severely beaten and battered. So now the Aegis on to LGD. Where do they go from here?
You can start to group up and go for the fights because you know that EG are weak right now. They don't have the physical damage to deal with your team. You've got a Talisman of Evasion on your Shadow Fiend right now. Your Gyrocopter's almost got a fully completed Butterfly. I actually think that's his quarterstaff flying in. Yep. There's no MKB on the side of EG. Electric doesn't have a BKB or a Octarine completed. You might as well just start looking for fights right now because you have all the advantages in the world.
Fear moving under cover of Invis currently is a rather speedy maybe. Also gets in position here. Fear's going to scout him out. They do not have the gem just yet, so he will live to fight another day. And meanwhile, they slow the game down. The split push from the Familiars, EG rotating through their own jungle. Fear just looking for an opening top, but he won't find one. He's going to TP back towards mid. But you could just see the change of posture here for EG. They are no longer the team driving forward into the enemy woods, aggressively looking for pickoffs. They're going to slow the game down and just sit back and wait for the chance to turn a fight against LGD.
There's no reason for LGD right now to look for anything. And EG at the same time, they can't really get aggressive because of this Aegis, the Butterfly, all of this evasion right now. They're going to be incredibly hard pressed to take a fight. And with this invasion too, it makes the Winner's Curse even more useless because if LGD turn on their own teammates, it doesn't matter because they're not really going to deal too much damage.
A very smart pickup there, as you're suggesting. And no reason to get MKBs of their own, as nobody is going for evasion on the side of EG just yet. They will try to trade towers though, pushing in the bottom lane. The TP's coming from Sylar's Gyrocopter. He will hold this lane out. Meanwhile, the tier 2 did fall, and Sylar the one to claim it. They may even get to farm the familiars here again. Resummon available, and he'll use it. And now evasion online for EG as well. They got the Solar Crystal and AUI. A small but very cost-efficient pickup for him. Do have some good vision out bottom, Blitz. They've managed to put that Observer Ward out, and you just start to wonder, at what point do we see a gem come out for LGD?
I think it's a worthwhile pickup for them at this point in the game. They've got all the advantages that they need to push if they want to take a team fight. And Clinkz is still a really annoying hero that they can just deal with immediately, but Fear, he just doesn't really have the room to farm right now. He's going to go for the split push here, but doesn't have the items to do it quite quickly enough, and I think EG are just going to rotate, or LGD are going to rotate back, defend their tower, and just continue to drag this game on because they realize we probably have cores that are farming a little bit better, and overall we've got the team fight advantage, so there's no need to sacrifice, but EG, they want to force them back off of this.
And it's just the LGD way. We saw it against LGD-GAMING yesterday. This is a team that has a lot of faith in their ability to execute team fights. In a lot of ways similar to C-Deck, but a little bit more mid to late game focus where they just want to outplay opponents in those engagements. And they have the massive AoE, as you've talked about. They have the scaling cores. Why force it? For now, they just continue to push out the lanes. We see the familiars on a bit of a snipe mission. They're going to try to cut the wave here. Courier running for its own life. Looks like AUI might have gotten vision on it and tries to scout it out. Can get it on the way back? No, it doesn't look like it. Familiars will retreat. Just stall and farm for both teams right now. And, well, gold, very even, dipping towards LGD, but still pretty much close to 0 and experience the same.
I mean, especially with that last game, this might be the two closest teams in the tournament.
I feel like these two games have been the two closest games of the event, at least that I can recall.
Neither team is getting really aggressive, even with the advantages. They never get above 10K.
Yeah, the most we've seen before the game ends was like a 5K gold lead for EG. Then they lost it, then they got it back, and then they pushed it to 10 as the base was dying.
It's pretty much 0 right now, as both teams just continue to trade farm, and EG, they're just waiting for their opportunity. They're definitely going to try to wait out this Aegis if they can. They know that maybe is about to lose it, but LGD, they're probably going to try to get aggressive.
Oh, this could be big. It's got the butterfly. Fear's going to snipe it. They've got a couple minutes now, Blitz. That courier should be up in time for the earliest possible Roshan. So unless EG force a fight before the Rosh respawns, the butterfly will be online for the Shadow Fiend of maybe. But it does mean he's going to lack buyback here.
Radiant's top tower
Age is
is
set
under
to expire
attack.
here in just a few moments. Still, it's some income. It's income that EG is going to want. New items to potentially come out. And just anything to give them a little kick. It's been some time since they won a fight.
It should still scare them, though, that even with the courier snipe, that was a fully completed MKB ready for maybe, and they have to be thinking to themselves. Yeah. And so they have to be thinking to themselves, okay, we have to get an MKB minimum before we get into a fight. It's only Fear that can accomplish that. The Leshrak's just going to have to outlast them in these fights to be able to do anything.
Oh, so much of that. You want to say PPD can be the savior with the Glimmer Cape as well as the Cold Embrace. Will he find a good opening to protect his Leshrak at the critical moment? They also do have the Solar Crest, so they can make this Leshrak a rather tanky pony. Surprisingly durable.
He just continues to farm. He's got all the mana in the world to work with.
Under attack.
Doing Ancients even isn't that difficult for him anymore. And he just wants to play this game out where he gets a BKB, he's got 6 slotted items, he can constantly engage and disengage. LGD, once their BKBs start to go to that 5-second mark, he can actually do a lot of damage, but they've got a lot of time to work with. You've still got 4 more charges from the BKB of Sylar before that happens. You've got 2 more from the side of Maybe. So LGD still have a really nice timing window where they're stronger.
Patience from both teams. PPD hiding in the trees, using Splinter Blast to keep the waves out. LGD reacting, just parking Sylar down here. Probably a good time to keep an eye on the smokes. What are we working with for LGD? They've got a minute and a half cooldown before their next smoke. It feels like they've been perpetually out of them. Always using one as soon as it's available. EG, already one in AUI's inventory and one about to cool down. So could be big, having that smoke advantage. But the Rosh set to respawn, the courier coming up in the next minute or so. So they'll get the butterfly.
LGD, they're just waiting for the next Roshan. They don't have to force anything. And more importantly, Maybe's butterfly that's on the courier, they want to pick that up before they get into a fight.
Anything else, big item-wise, they did get the gem. Yeah, let's pick that up. But anything else for LGD that you see that they should be angling towards?
Probably get the Satanic on... Okay, he actually just completed it.
You're a
get
prophet, Blitz.
Hey, you get the Satanic on the gyrocopter. Butterfly on maybe. Maybe you decide to start going for...
Here, he's caught out. He's got on the beacon. He's going to try to fight. And then the hook comes in from Universe, keeping them close to maybe. It's ever so tanky. They just can't kill him off. And now Uni's on the run. The chase comes the other direction, but the call-down follow-up is there as well. And they're going to isolate and bring down the clock where it looks like Sylar cutting him off at the chase. And at the pass, they slaughter him too. Sumail frantically scrambling for the split push. He's about as mobile as you can get now with Boots of Travel, Blink, and Yules. The LGD contingent begins the chant. They can feel the momentum going their way here more and more with that fight and a potential Roshan to respawn now. Familiars can scout this one out for the side of EG. LGD maybe hoping to force a buyback here as they just barrel down the middle lane. Actually, no Roche respawn for 2.5 minutes, though the teams don't realize it yet. Nobody actually scouting it out. They're all busy focusing on mid, where Sylar's been broken down a bit here by the offensive Solar Crest. LGD won't force the buyback. In the end, EG are patient, and in fact, they force out a glyph. They managed to put pressure on this bottom lane. It's AUI who's kind of pulling the LGD strings a bit here, Blitz, and keeping the game moderately paced.
LGD, I think they sense that they might have the advantage right now, and so they know that one of the ways that they can still lose is if Fear and AUI decide to go for the split push using the birds, plus that Deso on the Clinkz. EG still do a lot of damage to towers. They've got the Ledge Strike Edict, the split push of it, possibility is still real for LGD, and you don't want to lose a game like that, especially when you built up leads across the board. You're just going to wait for the next Roshan and then force EG to respond to your own play.
And EG, they're thinking about Roshan as well. The Rockets have begun coming out from Universe, and you have to expect they will continue to constantly scout out the pit until it respawns. Sylar now up to 2k gold. The Force continuing to farm. Even the utility items have been piling up for LGD. They've had the double Ghost Scepter, MMI up to another 1200 gold, and now LGD. Well, we've seen this before. As soon as that smoke's available, they pop it. No smokes for 10.5 minutes if this one doesn't work.
Trying to look for the opening right now so that they can immediately go to the Roshan right after, but they want to take the fight beforehand. LGD, I think they can still win the fight, but you want to absolutely secure it right now for your team. If they can get this next Aegis, this will probably mean high ground, or at the very least that tier 2 tower top.
Well, the pain's coming out. Xiao8 has an idea of where they are, but will they get there in time? Smoke about to break. They might be able to catch Fear. The entirety of EG is also in position as maybe breaches up across the plane of those steps. Won't find anyone, and that's the smoke down for LGD. It will be now 9 minutes and 45 seconds before their next smoke. EG with a couple in reserve.
It's going to make it hard for them to just sneak into the Roche pit, and so LGD...
And there's the MKB that you mentioned, Blitz.
He needed it. There was no other item that was going to affect the game as much as this. If you saw in that top fight where he just decided to hold his ground because he knew he was stuck in the 1v, he tried to fight, but barely did any damage to that Shadow Fiend. As LGD...
it's a massacre. AUI 2000 losing all but one of the familiars before the resummon.
Oh, now the Roche is up. Both teams are aware of this now, with the Alpha Wolf in the pit and that Rocket.
Do EG want to fight into this? What do you think? Can they take this fight?
It would have to be up to PPD's Winner's Curse. It would have to cancel the BKB, and at the same time, he would have to catch at least 2 heroes in it. This isn't one of those Winner's Curses that you use just to stop maybe's Requiem. Yeah. Like, that alone doesn't matter. He's taking enough to still get it off in the fight.
Now look at the positioning here from LGD. They've got all the supports way up high. MMI currently had with an Invis Rune. Rocket coming in. EG are going to look to contest this. They don't have a gem available. MMI can just sit back and wait for the right opening to go, and the Roche is going to fall. They've already got it, and they engage up the high ground. They do find Xiao8 off the back here as the fight breaks up. They lose the Archsinger. Calling comes through. Sumail with the Yules, the Winner's Curse. Pretty good, but not enough to bring out Sylar. They turn for the Spirit Bomb, and they finish off the left track. They punch Fear. He's doing good physical damage here, but not enough to finish off the cores. They buy back on the Rubik. They chase on the AUI. He's got the evasion that he needs to keep himself alive, but the familiars will be finished off as PPD, the next man to be caught out by the buying back of MMY. The raids will miss. He glimmers. This is going to wear off momentarily, but he's juked them. He blinks away. PPD, a bit of a ninja. MMY does not want to let him escape for free. Even throwing out the urn charge. Remember, he just bought back. This could be a dieback for MMY. And he commits. He really commits for this. Cold embrace is being baited. Baited again and again. The Ghost Scepter about to wear off. Horns are coming in from behind. Maybe in deep. Perhaps too deep. Has he been brought to his own demise? No, he'll make it out. Sylar also retreating. They're hunting. If Sylar sticks around, he could be trapped. And in fact, it's maybe who is. He's got the Satanic now. He can pop it. Fighting his way through with the Blade Mill is going to prevent this. And now the TPs start coming in. EG might get him twice. This Shadow Fiend's in a lot of danger. Fallout's there. Maybe doesn't have it. He can't survive. Universe now also on the back foot as Sylar walks away. They chase forward with Sumail. They look for more EG. Finding the rhythm. And the crucial hour. Xiaowei almost dead. There's the chance on the snowball. Not enough. Sumail gets the kill. And now he looks to get out. BKB again force the old man. Punishing Sylar. Blinking in. Sumail going hard in the paint. He wants Sylar. He gets him again. This hunt just never ends. LGD getting wiped out. It looks like the easiest of fights. And it all went wrong when MMY overcommitted. The net worth swing in the end. I don't even think that was the full fight. It's going to force out a buyback here. Blitz, there's nothing on the Shadow Fiend. The Gyrocopter has one. Not on the Earthshaker. Can LGD hang on? Their tournament life depends on it. Xiaowei, the last player with a chance to repeat. EG might just rip that chance away from him. This Rax in a lot of trouble. Fear chopping wood here, going to work. Just demolishing damage. The melee Rax. EG are going to take it. One lane down, 2 to go. They don't quite finish off the range, but eventually that can be killed off. No regen for that. EG, when the dust settles, they emerge ever so victorious. The graph, it paints all the picture.
That was so close.
In the
Baby's
world.
decision. He decided to use the BKB and the Satanic before the Aegis pops, and there's nobody near him. Sylar decides to come and help, but Sumail chases him down once that BKB is over, and EG, they just trust each other so much. Like, there's no way I would have re-engaged with 400 HP if I was Sumail, but he knew that his team was going to follow up. They were there every single time. Everybody from EG ends up limping away, but they come away with the Rax, and more importantly, they know the Shadow Fiend, A, he doesn't have a buyback, and B, that the Gyrocopter has used his. And so this next fight, if LGD lose either of their cores there, that's the game. They take the base so quickly. Even with everybody up, even with the glyph up, they lose the Rax.
LGD are definitely known for their prowess and high ground defense, but you can't execute it when you don't have your heroes. If they get picked off, they may never get a chance at that big combo. Sumail is going to march down mid here. He'll clear out the wave. And he's up to 4,000 gold, and as we saw after that fight, every hero had 4-digit gold on the side of EG. The swing of momentum, it was such a catastrophic fight that you just couldn't even see it in the one fight recap we were able to get at the end. 15,000 gold swing in basically one prolonged chase, and now EG, those smokes they kept in reserve later could allow them to just end this game now. They move in towards LGD, looking for that hook from Universe. Could be the dagger that just pierces LGD's heart, but they won't find a kill right now. They get up the aggressive wards. It will be thwarted here for the moment, and well, everybody about to pick up a new item on a EG if they want it. Could for buyback here. I mean, you just look at the Visage and the Clockwork really pulling ahead of their counterparts on LGD. The core's still fairly close, although Sumail has finally catapulted into the lead. And Fear's a hunting. He's got a Chrysalis now. The damage is ramping up. Almost has a Daedalus, about 1,900 short. Oh, he wants to save for the buyback first, but he's closing in on another tier 4 damage item, at which point they may not be able to withstand the punishment.
LGD is incredibly top heavy right now. Sylar and Maybe have so much net worth on them. They're still second and third respectively in this game, but the rest of their team lags so far behind. Like, all three of those net worths combined barely add up to Sumail, and that's a terrible sign for them, as everybody else from EG just continues to pull further and further ahead right now. AUI, as usual, I mean, he's got so much item. He's actually got a Shivas if he wants it. He's probably going to go for the AC. That's going to make these tower pushes even more effective, and it's going to make everyone on his team so tanky right now.
He's worth as much as the 3 and the 4 combined on LGD right now. That is how farmed AUI 2000 is.
Lesh actually finishes that full cycle.
And they get almost on Yano, and it's Universe with the initiation. Yao, force stepping himself away, almost dies to one auto attack. Sumail just going insane, charging down to Maybe. He's stunned. Solid place. They beat up the BKB. Universe gets pulled very far back. He's going to try to retreat. The echo's in. It's a minute to break. Now the Wizards turns. AG. Makes it LGD. There's no buyback. There's no buyback. And now Sylar. He's fallen. LGD are crumbling.
The shadow beam brought out his float.
The boys in blue. They are going in blitzed. They are going in for a GG. And I don't know how LGD can hold this next round of Assault off. I mean, what can they even do at this point?
They don't have the echo. The shadow being brought out before the fight. He's gonna go on MMR right now.
No time to think about it. MMR getting nuked to smithereens. El Sumel and Universe almost killing him off. He frantically retreats. He will survive for now. Universe is fishing for a hook, but he doesn't need the kill. They got the rest, and now he's gonna get him anyway. And the boy's dead. And EG will move on to the grand finals of the International 2015. They've gotten the revenge on LGD. The question is, can they do it versus CDEC next as well?
There will be no repeat performance for anybody this year as EG. They outdo themselves from TI4. At worst, they secure themselves a second place finish, but you gotta know. They've got their eyes on the prize right now. They're aiming for first.